but the tree remembers. Sorry about that. It's again having to reconnect my microphones. I need to remember to do that for some reason. I did another update and it reset, and yeah, whatever. So yeah, this is Andor, the Axe Forgets, which, I mean, I always love a good tree-based idiom. So yeah, this could, I mean, this is my reaction to this without having just watched it, not a chance to kind of dig through the Easter eggs, not what I'm about. It's my immediate gut reaction. And again, really loving the fact that this show is taking a naturalistic, slow burn approach to everything, and it's just really refreshing to see TV actually being prepared to do that rather than having to rush into everything with like vast amount of speed. So we basically get, I think, 3 different plots here, and I'll talk about the briefest one first, which is with I need to get the cast list up because I can't remember everyone's name. So yeah, Cyril Khan has 3 scenes. 2 of them he's in the exact same place, sitting at a dinner table, eating, and I love this, cereal with blue milk. It's just such a Star Wars thing. Well, his mum's trying to get him like a new job with his uncle figure, and like so little happens, but the fact that so little happens makes it feel actually pretty like grounded, because that's kind of what the whole slump, and you know, this is visually kind of shown to us when we when you know, he's all like slouching over, he's in a slump visually. That's what the storytelling is telling us, that's what the visual language is telling us. But he's in this slump period where he's like just failed massively, and we feel that, and by the end he's kind of staring wordlessly, and again another complete scene with no dialogue, a hologram of a younger Andor, and you can infer so much about kind of where his mindset is, and it's great. We get the bit with Mon Mothma by Genevieve O'Reilly. I'm not sure what the scene was between her and her daughter. I mean, I need to watch it again. I didn't quite follow the dialogue, but next we see them come back from some sort of event, and she just seems so exhausted. She's taking off her earrings in a kind of very shattered kind of way. There's like no energy to like her life, and clearly there's like this schism. I tried to say schism and chasm at the same time, and instead said schism. Maybe that should be a thing. There's like a schism between her and her husband, who, is there a name? What's it mean? Perrin Further. It's about Alison Mackenzie, and again, so little, but there's the whole body language, and the framing of the shot and the kind of mood of the scene just tells so much story. We get a bit more of a kind of, even I think it's only one scene with members of the Imperial Security Bureau who we saw from last time. So we've got. Gosh, this is so long, so hard. So I think her name is Dedra Miro, and we also have, who else was you person? I don't know, but like we see them dealing with, or it might be Blevin. We see both of these dealing with the kind of where we left them last time. Blevin's, if that's what who he is, the takeover of that of Primor, and Dora's trying to still like tackle the kind of lost items and like work out the rebellion that's happening. Still it happens, but again it seems to like naturalistic, so grounded. And then the main meat of it is these guys getting ready for their heist. And I mean, I don't tend to steal from reviews for obvious reasons, because that's like mean. But I was, in the brief minutes before I went live, reading Den of Geek's review, and they commented that the fact that this episode here is like meant to like represent the calm before the storm. And I mean the whole show's been like a calm kind of slow burn, but like we know that they're building up something, but like there's always that level of uncertainty, a level of kind of just having to wait, just push through. And even commenting on it in text, like Andor even points out that the night before the thing is always from worse than the thing itself, or something to that effect. And like that's time where you're like your nerves start to fry and things like that. And like, you know, you can tell that they're having to rough it, they're uncomfortable, they're cold. Just and Dennis also points out this is a direct contrast to the Star Wars that we see in films, where they're the epic heroes. This is definitely like the Star Wars. I think I've said, but this is like definitely Star Wars. Well, actually, between this, Lower Decks, and Ring of Power, we're seeing basically all these franchises handle very obliquely the lower decks of the universes. We are following more of the villagers and the Harfoots and Rings of Power. We're obviously following the junior officers in lower decks, and we're following the actual foot soldiers of the rebellion. Like, none of these are heroes, none of these are like, you know, heroic epic figures of legend. No one stories are going to be told about in universe. These are just guerrilla terrorists trying to take down an empire, and having to deal with like all the uncertainty. Like, what's his name? Skeen, played by Evan Moss Backrack, is someone who's like had more of a history. Like, he's, I think I inferred from the discussion about I inferred from their discussion about tattoos that he probably served in a similar military that Andor served at when he was 13. Never met, but they were like in the same kind of thing. And his brother died because the Empire took away his farm, and he ends up, you know, drowning himself because of it. And he has like this interest, and everyone's very suspicious of Andor for obvious reasons. And finally, he like pulls a knife to his throat and like reveals that he has this sky kyber crystal, which is worth loads of money on his thing. And Andor's finally like, well, I'm being paid to be here, and everyone's like not sure how to think about that, because there's obviously one thing, which is someone who is bound to the cause, and there's someone else who's just there for the money, and the levels of loyalty there. And Andor's, you know, obviously like, well, yeah, I'm in this through and through, but obviously no one else got reason to believe him. But you know, he makes a very pragmatic decision of giving them this reason to doubt him, because that's his best chance of getting them to trust him. Kind of conversely, rather they know who he is and have him and everyone be clear about what the trust is between them all. Sorry, I'm molting hair. Or he has to look over his back and not sure who to trust, because he doesn't know if Skeen's going to like attack him while he's doing this mission, which is very pragmatic, because I really hate this kind of whole thing that happens in like heists, where people are like in fight during the dangerous bit, and it jeopardizes the whole mission, like jeopardizes everyone's lives, and people keep doing that. I'm glad that he's pragmatic enough to. I like it when characters are pragmatic. Like, it's like a different. It's like a in-universe sort of being genre savvy when you're just pragmatic about things. And Andor, I mean, the other thing I'm trying to work out is Andor says in Rogue One, what does he say? I have been in this. I've been in this fight. Yeah, Andor says that he's been in this fight since he was 6 years old. But clearly he's not in a fight right now. I don't know if he's retroactively in that film kind of talking about his kind of childhood, just doing like being a thief and counting that as a fight. I guess I would count that if I was him looking back. But he should point out, like, you know, he is in this for the money because he needs the means to survive. But he also, you know, genuinely doesn't like the Empire, has been stealing from them, thinks that they're an oppressive force. I mean, that's what I would say. I mean, that would probably get me into good books, but it didn't. But yeah, not much to talk about, but like, you know, I love the fact that it's not being apologetic about a slow burn, where I love the kind of set designs, like we're seeing Coruscant, and you look back at, I know a prequel bash, we look back at the prequels, and a lot of it is very clear green screen, and you can tell about people that being composited on it. And in fact, that was the early 2000s, like CGI sets generally CGI sets were relatively new. I mean, in fact, actually, a lot of them weren't even CGI. A lot of them were like models still. But even then, compositing was still very like early days, and we've become so much better like in the last 20 years at compositing people. So like Coruscant has never looked better. But I mean, most of these places are real places, real sets, real hills, and it just helps make this feel less like a space opera and more like a war thriller, which is what it's meant to be. I mean, Wikipedia even lists its genre as well, spy thriller, but that's basically what it is. So yeah, it's refreshing. It's refreshing the same way that The Mandalorian was. I mean, Mandalorian was like was a Western first, Star Wars second. This is a spy thriller first, Star Wars second. Some reason that's doing us making the best Star Wars. I mean, I loved The Last Jedi, and I think Last Jedi represents everything Star Wars is meant to be, especially in the 2020 in the 2010s when it came out, but like the era we live in now. I think it represents everything about what Star Wars is on a broader scale. But because it's on that pedestal, definitely television is where. Well, actually, no, it's not, because people didn't like the Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or at least some people did, but not everyone did. But you know, those were trying to be. Actually, fair. Book of Boba Fett was trying to be something as well. But those were like pre-existing characters. I don't know. It's hard. It's difficult. I think Star Wars seems to be at its safest when it's avoiding the places people have expectations. No one comes into Andor of expectations because nobody cares about. Well, yeah, no one cares about Andor really. I mean, even fans of Rogue One. Andor was one of character. No, there's nothing to be lost there. He's the only returning character. I mean, and you have other returning characters such as Mon Mothma, but the Mothma is basically a supporting member of cast. She's not like a big player. She's significant, but she's not. You know, she doesn't have her own Wikipedia article. She has her own Wikipedia article, but everyone has her own Wikipedia article. That's kind of a joke. And same with Mandalorian. I think pretty much everyone in Mandalorian is an original character until they started bringing in legacy characters. But initially, it took a while for legacy characters to start appearing. In fact, were there any legacy characters in season 1? Oh no, there were, because no, there weren't. I don't think there were any legacy characters in season 1. I don't think. I can't remember. Whereas, I'm confusing season 1 and season 2. That's why I paused. But that's because I binge watched season 1 because I didn't get Disney Plus like months after it came out, and then I watched season 2 properly. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Andor. I'm gonna finish my milkshake and I guess watch Lower Decks, and then all I have left to catch up on before the weekend. Oh yeah, I finished my coursework. I no longer. So this is the part of the review where I stopped talking about the episode and talk about my personal life for reasons. I, for the first time in 2 decades, in 20 years, have no foreseeable academic commitments to work towards. I mean, I finished my last university assessment. At some point, I want to do a doctorate. At some point, I want to go into teaching. Probably teaching first, to be honest, and that would need me to do PGC, which isn't kind of going back to university, but it kind of is. But I'm not, unlike before, even when I finished my undergrad and took a year out, I was still working towards going back into education the year after. That was always the plan. Here, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to do the rest of what I want to do. So the first time in 2 decades, I genuinely don't have a plan. I'm trying to work out what that means to me and who I am anymore. But I do have a plan for tonight. I'm going to celebrate by catching up on my streaming shows because I'm away all weekend. And then hopefully play some video games and eat ice cream. But I also, because I'm that kind of person who can't give themselves a break, I'm have to not be up too late because I need to be up in the morning with that clock because I'm going to go teach first aid. So that's my life. Anyway, thanks for checking the review and the brief catch up on my life. I'll probably see you about 30 to 40 minutes for my Lower Decks reaction, which never take long, and then I'm going to go pray, and then we'll come back and watch Ring of Power. And then I need to catch up on Fortnite, so that's what we're going to do. Cat just fell on my other cat. That's for you. Oh well.